couple of days ago, I made an Instagram post uh, to an Instagram page I don't really much use that just said, let's talk about mental health. And I pretty much spent that entire post just talking about how I wasn't feeling okay and my brain wasn't in a good place. And also my story of how I got to where I am today and how I almost didn't. Something I didn't do in that post, though, was address what other people can do. I spent a lot of time talking about what happened to me and what I did, and telling people that they're not alone. But that's not enough. People know they're not alone, but they don't know how to ask for help. Um, as it's no surprise to anyone that I drew a lot of inspiration for who I am today from Uncle Iroh, the character from Avatar: The Last Airbender, because he was a man who saw war and tragedy, and rather than let it send his life down a never-ending spiral, he found a way to use that suffering to help him become a better person and help improve the lives of everyone he came across. And one of the things I learned from Uncle Iroh is that there is no shame in letting those who love you help you. The past few years, the world has been an uncaring place. People seem to hate each other so much more. There's canyons where there used to be cracks between people. And a lot of people have fallen into a pit of just there's no way to climb out. Um, and it's not true. There's always a way. There's always a way to get back out of the pit. Um, a lot of the time, though, you can't do it by yourself. Someone needs to throw down the rope. Someone needs to help pull you up when you get tired. The past few weeks, I've noticed the people around me start getting worse, including myself. Um, just last week was when I made my Instagram post. Not too long after that, I had other friends come to me and tell me that they weren't doing okay. And I guess what I always want to tell them is ask for help. I can tell you that it's going to be okay, and I can tell you that I'm here for you, and I can tell you that I'm going to support you as much as I can, but I can't do anything if I don't know if you need me. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay to have your pride, and it's okay to have your ego, but it's never okay to think you can do it on your own, because a lot of the time you can't. We're human. Humans can only do so much on our own. We are social creatures by default for a reason. We rely on each other. When someone falls down, they rely on someone to pick them up. When things aren't going well, they can rely on someone else to give them a better idea. Humans rely on each other by nature. That's how we survived and made it this long. So don't be afraid to ask for help. People will be there for you. Even some of the nastiest people I've ever met had friends who would take a bullet for them. Not out of fear, out of love. Even the worst people I've ever known, the people who I would gladly punch square in the nose, had friends who loved them. Which goes to say that the people who are nice and caring and loving have even greater numbers to help. But they cannot help you if you do not ask for help. And sometimes that's scary. Admitting that you can't do it by yourself to a lot of people is like admitting that you failed. Or it's admitting you're not strong enough. Or it's admitting that you can't do it. And it's not true. You are strong. And you are enough. And you can do it on your own. But you don't need to. You don't have to. And maybe this time you're just too tired to do it by yourself. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to show anybody that you're capable, because the people who love you know that you are. You don't need to prove it to them. They already know, which is why they're willing to help you for the moments that you're not. Mental health is a taboo topic, mostly where I live and in a Western culture. But a lot of places too, outside of a Western culture, mental health is a taboo topic. It's an invisible pain. Depression is not something you can see. Not everyone who's depressed hasn't eaten in a week. Not everyone who is depressed can't sleep. Not everyone who is depressed hasn't done laundry. There are a lot of people who have become so familiar with their depression that they do everything they need to do. They go outside, they eat 3 meals a day, they drink water, they hang out with friends. It doesn't mean that they're still not hurting on the inside. So what is the point of any of this? Why am I sitting here and doing this? Why am I saying the things I'm saying? Is it because I think I'm a genius and I figured out the issue? Am I an expert? Have I found the cure for depression? No. Any of that, no. I'm just a person who's been there before and goes back there a lot. So, what I know because I experienced it from my friends. I never wanted to admit that I was wrong or that there was an issue. I didn't want to ask for help because I was afraid that it meant I wasn't strong enough, or I was afraid it would be bothering people. If I asked them to help me, I would be ruining their day and bringing their mood down, so I hid it. The problem with hiding it like that, though, is when you start cutting out voices, the only voice you're left with is the voice inside your head that's telling you that you're the problem. And when you hear that voice, and only that voice for so long, you believe it. So, I guess what I'm saying is, don't let that voice become the majority. Even if your friends don't magically cure your problems overnight, and maybe when you wake up the next day, you're still going to have problems in your life. But your friends will help you drown out that voice. And when you start to hear their voices telling you how much they care, you'll start to realize just how worth it you are and just how strong you are. It's said that two of the hardest things for people to do is admit when they're wrong and admit when they can't do something. I'm guilty of that, both of those. Some would argue that being able to ask for help and admit that you are wrong shows true strength. That without true strength, you never would be able to say those things. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you. Because to tell you what to think would be wrong. And I know I'm telling you to think that you're worth it, but it's because you are. I'm not saying you think that way, it's just true. Uncle Iroh said that hope is something you give yourself. That's true inner strength. And I believe that. So I hope that you can give yourself the courage to admit that you need your friends. And when your friends show you how much you're cared about and how much you're loved and how much they want you to talk to them instead of hide, that you'll allow yourself to feel hopeful that things will get better, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that the grass is greener. You just gotta walk